Let's talk about something that nobody tells you when you start writing fiction. Most writers think the secret to a good story is plot, or characters, or beautiful language. And while many of those things matter, they're not actually what makes a reader fall into your world, ultimately forget their reading. The truth, most fiction doesn't feel real. It reads like a story, not an experience. And that's the problem. Because readers don't come to fiction for words. They come to feel. They want to be so absorbed that everything else around them disappears. They want goosebumps. They want to cry, laugh, and ultimately live inside someone else's skin. But most fiction just doesn't get them there. Why? Well, because usually the writing isn't immersive. Let me show you what I mean. Billy feels nauseated and weak. Okay, we get it. Billy is unwell. Now, compare that to this. Billy's legs are noodles. The ends of her hair are poison needles. Her tongue is a bristly sponge, and her eyes are bags of bleach. That second version, it doesn't just tell you Billy feels sick. It makes you feel how sick she is. The language is weird, but it's vivid, sensory, and it forces your brain to experience the moment, not just understand it. And that's the magic trick. And most authors skip it. Good fiction and being able to write good fiction is ultimately about casting a spell. The goal isn't just to tell a story. The goal is to make the reader forget they're reading fiction. And you do that by engaging the senses. Taste, smell, touch, sound, sight, motion. You're not just reporting what's happening. You're handing the reader a mask and saying, here, wear this. See what she sees. Feel what she feels. But when you write in flat, abstract language, when everything is reported instead of felt, well, then you break that illusion. The reader isn't in the story, they're just watching words go by. Here's what immersive writing actually looks like. The world was ghost quiet, except for the crack of sails and the burbling of water against the hull. That's a sentence by Tobias Buckle. And ultimately, it's a masterclass in sensory layering. Let's break it down. Ghost quiet. Metaphor creates mood, not just quiet, but eerie. Crack of sails, that gives you sound and motion. And burbling of water gives you sound and touch. You feel like you're there on the boat. You hear it, you sense the movement, you're inside the moment. That's the power of well-chosen language. And most writers, well, they skip this step entirely. They write like this. It was quiet, the sails flapped, and water hit the hull. And technically, that's not wrong. It's clear, it's fine, but it's dead on the page. It tells you what's happening, but it doesn't let you experience it. And that's the difference between a story people finish and a story people feel. Let's talk metaphors for a moment, because most writers get these wrong too. Writers are always told, avoid cliches, and that's good advice. Overused metaphors don't make readers feel anything. Red as a rose, sharp as a knife, cold as ice. We've all heard it before and it just slides right off the brain. But this, love began on a beach. It began that day when Jacob saw Annette in her stewed cherry dress. Now, that sticks. You don't know exactly what a stewed cherry dress looks like, but your brain starts working. You picture it, you feel the moment, you start falling in love with her too. And that's what metaphor is. Not to decorate your sentences, but to ignite your reader's imagination. Here's the key idea. Good writing tells us what's happening, but great writing helps us experience what's happening. It's a difference between saying the room smelled strange and saying the room smelled like wet carpet and old peanut butter. One gives us information, the other gives us an experience. The best fiction puts readers inside a living, breathing world. And no, this isn't about writing beautiful prose, it's about showing off your vocabulary. It's about using language to unlock the reader's imagination. Here's what readers actually want: to feel like they're somewhere else, to live through someone else, and to feel something that they haven't felt in a long time. And you can't do that with plain language alone. You need to engage the senses. Now, a lot of this has been very theory-based, so let me give you a practical fix. Next time you write a scene, ask yourself, what does this moment sound like? What does this moment smell like? What does the character physically feel? What's the emotional texture of this moment? Then go beyond the obvious. Don't say he was sad, say His chest felt like a collapsed balloon, deflated, useless, and half tied in a knot. Don't say the coffee was strong. Instead, say it tasted like a punch to the throat. Bitter, hot, exactly what she needed. This is how you pull the reader in, not with clarity, but with texture. So what about movement? Motion is another forgotten sense in fiction. She ran across the parking lot. Okay, sure, but let's compare it to her feet slapped the pavement, each breath a saw in her throat. Wind tore at her sleeves. The car door was only steps away. Now it feels like a chase. Now we are in the moment with her. Readers need to move through your scenes, not just float above them. And now, if this all sounds like too much work, well, the reality is you're probably already doing most of this in your head. You picture the scene, you feel the emotion, you hear the sounds. You just need to transfer that onto the page so that the reader can feel it too. Right now, most writers summarize their mental movie. You need to be the sound designer, the set decorator, the lighting director. Bring that moment to life. And the good news is you don't have to be poetic, you just have to be specific. Instead of the room was messy, try socks draped over a lampshade, empty mugs stacked like pottery, something furry moved under the bed, right? It's specific, visual, specific and real. That's what will immerse your readers. Ultimately, here's the bottom line. Fiction isn't about being clever. It's about casting a spell. You're not just writing, you're conjuring a world in someone else's mind. So stop writing like a reporter and start writing more like a magician. Use sound, smell, taste, motion, and use metaphor that makes your reader work just enough to spark their imagination. And when you do, well, you're not just telling stories, you're giving readers something to feel. If this helps shift how you think about writing fiction, then hit that like button and let me know in the comments what's one moment in your story you're going to rewrite using these techniques. And if you want feedback on whether your writing feels immersive, well then check out our editing services down below. We'll tell you what works, what doesn't, and how to turn your scenes into experiences. Now, YouTube will be recommending another one of my writing videos just here, so go ahead and watch that one next.